Today, we're checking out BenQ's new gaming projector, the TK700STi, to see how it fares with the Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X, and of course, the Soldier game console. No, not that one. Welcome to It Came From a Box. This is Sergio AM. Now, behind the scenes, we've been working on a new series which has to do with upgrades in the office here, such as our unboxing desk, displays, smart lighting, console storage, things like that. But the first one is our projector setup to help us shoot some awesome B-roll of games or to just use as a backdrop. Now, it's still in that list, and we'll talk about that whole setup there, but there's a lot more I wanted to say about this projector, hence this video. So let's get in there. So inside the box we get, interestingly enough, another box. This is their QS01 Android TV dongle, which we'll get back to in a bit. Then we have all the paperwork, followed by the power cable, their Unity remote, and of course, the projector. It has the same design as the others from this line, but this time with a slick black front faceplate. Its size is similar to most home projectors and weighs in at just 6.8 pounds. So unlike those large and bulky professional-grade projectors, this one's lightweight enough so you can easily move it from room to room or even take it on the go. Quick look around. On the lens, we have the focus and zoom rings. Underneath, we've got 3 adjustable feet and your mounting holes. And of course, we have our essential controls, most of which are also on their new remote that dual connects to both the projector via 2 IR sensors and that QS01 Android TV dongle via Bluetooth, but sadly, there's no dedicated playback controls. Let's take a look at the rear end. On here, we're down to the essentials, that being 1 port for AC power, an RS-232 port, 2 HDMI 2.0 ports that max out at 4K 60Hz, audio out, and a USB-A port so you can power whatever you connect. Back to the QS01, it's an HDMI dongle powered by micro USB. It's a bit large, so instead of it dangling off the back, they instead gave it this dedicated compartment with its own HDMI port and power cable, which you can then close shut to keep it secure. Now, there's a long list of specs and features, but let's talk highlights. But before we go on, I want to thank our sponsor, Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is the world's leading no-logs VPN. PCMag, Wired, Lifehacker, and plenty of other publications recommend it, plus it has a solid Trustpilot score. This VPN encrypts your connection and hides your IP address, making it look like you're connecting from someplace else in the world. This way, you bypass digital censorship or annoying ISP throttling. Plus, you can stream your favorite content no matter where you are. It also gives you access to plenty of other features, and it's excellent at blocking ads, trackers, and malware. They also have a rock-solid no-logs policy. Now, let's be honest, many VPNs claim they don't log your activity, but Private Internet Access has actually proven this in court multiple times, which in turn makes them pretty trustworthy. With thousands of VPN servers, Private Internet Access is available on pretty much every platform, including Windows, macOS, and mobile apps. Just one subscription protects up to 10 devices simultaneously, and customer support is available 24/7. So if you want to stay safe online, it's time to get Private Internet Access. Use our link down in the description below so you can get access to a 78% discount. That's less than $3 a month, and you get 3 extra months for free. Plus, you're protected by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So please check them out because supporting them helps support us. Thanks to the QS01 stick, we have full Android TV with access to a ton of apps, including those you'd expect for media such as YouTube, Disney+, Prime Video, Plex, and more, except Netflix, because they're picky about authorized devices, but there are ways around it. So it's a short throw projector that at a distance of about 8 feet gave us a 120-inch image just as advertised, and you can adjust the keystone with auto vertical adjustment, picture rotation, and a 1.2 times zoom for those small spaces, which we also found useful for local co-op games that squeeze the resolution down, because you can then just zoom out to fit that size onto your screen. At the bottom of their list of features is audio, because in here we have a tiny single 5-watt speaker. If you're near it in an average size room, it performs surprisingly well due to their Cinema Master Audio Plus 2, but in a more open space, it'll start to sound a bit tinny and can't match that epic image, so in that case, you're better off hooking up your own external speakers. As for brightness, in here we have a 240-watt lamp that outputs 3000 ANSI lumens, which is bright enough to use around accent lights or in a dimly lit room, but in pitch black on a projector screen, this thing looks just like a TV. Even on a textured wall at max distance and size, it just looks fantastic. So let's talk about that image. Keep in mind it's hard to show on camera, but I'll do my best to describe it. Being 4K, resolution is on full display. Movies look so crisp, but next-gen games really take the cake with details like hair, fabric, and particles which come through very sharp. It supports HDR10 with a 10,000:1 contrast ratio, and although projectors can struggle with HDR, so far the TK700STi pulls it off pretty well. In games like Demon's Souls or Returnal, it definitely pumps the contrast and brings out the details in those dark environments without blowing out bright things like fire and particles, but instead enhancing their color, which makes them really pop. Now it covers 96% of the Rec. 709 color space, and beamed out of this thing, they look beautiful. There's a lot of options you can use to tweak the image, but out of the box, to my naked eyes, colors seemed very accurate. With movies, Cinema Mode produced mouth-watering palettes that really pop off the screen, but at times came off a bit oversaturated. In games, we noticed rich greens and vibrant reds, but the blues were a bit soft, and on opposite sides of the spectrum, in the right mode it does a decent job with details and highlights that with a projector I'd normally expect to see blown out. And black levels are more dark gray than I'd like, but as I said, HDR does help bring out and enrich those tones. So what makes this a gaming projector is its low input lag, that being the delay between pressing a button on your controller and when that action occurs on screen. Ideally, you want something below 30 milliseconds, and the TK700STi lands at about 16 milliseconds at 4K 60Hz, the lowest we could find on a 4K projector, and if you drop down to HD, it's capable of 4 milliseconds at 240Hz. Personally, I'll always take the hit in resolution for the boost in performance, but even at 16 milliseconds, you can comfortably handle any fast-paced game that requires quick inputs without noticeable delay. So we tested it out with the Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X, but it should also be great for PC and cloud gaming. First up, the Nintendo Switch, which is the least demanding since it maxes out at 60Hz in HD. Instead of stretching the image to a 4K resolution, we have it at its native 1080p, and it looks great. In gaming mode, Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Looks beautiful with their crazy bright color palettes that Nintendo's known for. And at 60Hz, the frame rate is solid, and paired with that low input lag, it definitely helps in competitive games. But those that run at 30 frames per second or lower, such as Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, that although may look fine in handheld mode, stick out like a sore thumb on this large screen, especially when it dips down to the 20s, where you can really notice that choppiness. Regardless, the Switch is still the go-to console for multiplayer and party games, which are a million times better on a huge screen to experience with everyone around you. And although it can't take full advantage of this projector, it's still future-proof for the soon, if not already announced, Switch Pro. On PS5, we've got their shiny, tactile platformer Astro's Playroom, which is packed with exciting, bright and vivid colors that are a blast to run around in. And on the opposite end, there's the muted, gloomy biomes in Returnal that are projected with a lot of detail, but take a backseat to the action on the foreground, where you have all sorts of these beautiful, glowing enemies and brightly colored, particle-heavy firefights. Then we have the Demon's Souls remake, which is slathered with so much attention to detail. Lighting is definitely at the forefront and brings out these rich textures, environmental animations, and surreal reflective surfaces. Now, because combat relies so heavily on timing, performance mode is where it's at, because at 60 frames per second, you can get very smooth camera movement for tracking, and all your inputs are snappy and responsive, so you can nail every dodge and attack. Finally, on the Xbox Series X, games like the re-released Gears of War 5 look incredible. Game mode along with HDR helps bring out those gritty environments, while the highlights and reflections just pop off the screen. Then in the optimized version of Forza Horizon 4, speeding through these vibrant locations, you can see the sun beam through trees, creating all these shadows throughout, and there's mirror-like reflections on the car itself, as well as bodies of water, all of which make it feel so realistic at this resolution, especially with that random debris that hits the camera. Upgrading from a 1080p projector to 4K, you can really see the difference at this size. Details look incredible, color accuracy is on point, and at 60Hz, games feel fluid and responsive. It's an awesome addition to this setup, and I can't wait to start using it in our videos, but please let us know what you think of it down in the comments, and let's talk. Up next, as I said earlier, this is just one of the upgrades in our office, but we'll be featuring it and more soon, so please stick around for that. And we're also checking out PowerA's new Fusion Pro controllers, so make sure to subscribe and ding the bell to stay notified. That aside, if you like what we're doing here and want to support us, please hit that like button, check out the affiliate links down in the description below, and you can also buy us a coffee to keep us going. Once again, this is Sergio IM. Appreciate you watching, liking, and subscribing. You're why we do what we do. I'll see you for the next box.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to help us out, you can do so by clicking that thumbs up button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe for more content? It's free. We also love to hear you out, so please leave a comment down below or talk with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Sergio IM, and I'll see you for the next box.